Special dispense. Well, she's sitting. I'm just lucky special.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is a special meeting for the Solid Waste Advisory Commission for the City of Meridian. It is now 2 minutes after 4. It is Thursday, May 31st, 2018. We'll start with roll call. Please indicate if you are present. Cheryl Caldwell.
Here.
Mark Nelson.
Here.
Steve Corey. Here. Carrie Glenn.
Here.
Dave Neal.
Here.
Megan Larson.
Here.
Andrea Pogue.
Here.
Scott Walters.
Here.
Victoria Madrigal. Absence. Ex officio members, Councilwoman Genesis Malam. Here. Present. And Rochelle Klein. Here. Quorum being present, we will go ahead and move on to business. First is approval of the agenda. Are there any comments or motions on the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the agenda as written signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. There are no minutes to approve, so we'll go ahead and move on into old business. The first item in old business is the Community Recycling Fund. Item 1, Dow Hefty Energy Bag Program, update on program, which is the purpose of this special meeting. David Miles from Public Works Department was supposed to go ahead and give the update, but he has a conflict, and so I will go ahead and do that. To update you, Boise has chosen to suspend work on the MOU between Boise and Meridian on the Hefty Energy Bag Program in fear that as long as a city had not chosen an option from the March 9th letter where Republic had sent to Meridian a request to figure out which option the city may want to do, that one of the options, option number 4, is still in play. And in their words, the Hefty Energy Bag Program is a complementary program to recycling and not a standalone program. And as long as materials are being collected, they are comfortable moving forward with a MOU with the city. They just have a problem if one of the options on the table may or may not result in the city not doing recycling. And so in relation to that concern, I will lay on the table here, does anyone want to recommend Meridian pursue option 4 from that letter, which is to suspend recycling? And with that, I will open it up to the members of the commission if you have any comments.
Mr. Chair, I do not wish to stop recycling.
Did you say that's our only option
No,
left?
no, that still leaves open the options of recycling all materials that we currently recycle with the requirement that rates go up $1.25, or recycling only those things that are economically viable, which would require that the rates go up 90 cents a month. There's also the other one with the floating rate on a month-to-month basis. And there are other options. we don't have to make a decision about which option we're going on. The only thing necessary for Boise to restart work on the MOU is that they, yeah, that they're comfortable that we're, as long as we're going to do recycling, some version of recycling, they're okay with continuing with the MOU conversation.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Dave.
I attended the Garden City public hearing on recycling. Overwhelmingly, the idea of suspending recycling was shot down. It probably ended up with 1 or 2% of the folks that attended were in favor of that. Actually, they had signed up, and they read the sign-up sheets. Ada County did send out a survey. The survey results came back to Ada County. Overwhelmingly, the least palatable thing for the folks that live in unincorporated Ada County was a suspension of recycling. So I don't think the citizens of Meridian would be any happier with the idea of recycling being suspended than anybody else in this community. So I'm not in favor of suspending recycling.
I would concur. I would take a lot of abuse from my peers and my household if I were to support suspension of recycling if there wasn't a pretty strong business case.
Yeah, I agree.
Not having seen the MOU that I can recall, it's hard to say what the requirements are placed on the city of Meridian. Does it require us to continue recycling in perpetuity? Is it some specified time frame in the MOU? As we've seen over the past year and a half, conditions can change quite dramatically. So not having seen the MOU and we're being asked to make a commitment to something that I don't fully understand, I'm in favor of not suspending recycling, understanding that conditions may change and I may think something different a year from now. I don't know what we're committing to the city of Boise.
Andrea, do you feel there's any anything you would want to report back from the draft MOU in any way, shape, or form? Or okay.
There isn't, no, I'm shaking my head because there isn't an answer to your question. There's nothing in the MOU requiring Meridian to recycle because it's assumed you wouldn't want to be doing that if you weren't recycling. So my understanding is that their concerns were raised based on some conversations that may have taken place. I was not a party to them, that raised some concerns in their mind that because Meridian hadn't yet decided upon an option, that the option to end the program might still be viable. Although I don't think anybody here on SWAC had talked about that, or anyone officially from the city. But we've been asked as a commission to just discuss it, and if it sounds like we're in agreement, we all want to keep recycling going in some fashion, then we could make a motion to that effect, to recommend that to City Council so that they can go on the record on Tuesday, and we can maybe get back on track then with the MOU and get it done and move forward with the Hefty Energy Bag Program. So this is more like just clarifying something that occurred that created a misconception in Boise staff's minds. Since Meridian hasn't officially decided on an option yet.
So To facilitate the conversation, does anyone want to recommend Meridian pursue option 4, suspending recycling?
No.
Okay. Sensing the commission's view, I make the motion that that the commission recommends to the council that recycling, curbside recycling, continue to occur in Meridian in some way or fashion. I believe that's probably as far as I need to go on that. Now, I would entertain any alternate recommendation that someone may want, or a second, or whatever, but
Second.
As chairman, are you allowed to make a motion?
well, I am a member of the commission, so I can, and because of the difficulty of this particular motion, I'm kind of taking that chair's prerogative to make the motion. But making it very clear that I'm more than happy for that to go away. I'm just kind of doing that wording to kind of throw out a suggested wording for this.
Commissioner Larson, I appreciate the concerns you've expressed about how, you know, what happens next year. So I appreciate what your concerns are. So to the motion, could we add something to the effect that this would be our recommendation until such time as SWAC is asked to evaluate the program in the future? You know, it's like maybe what we recommend at this point, based on what we know today and believe. But that means, you know, who knows in the future.
I appreciate your comments. I'd be very comfortable with a vague sort of motion that SWAC remains committed to the principle of recycling and will design a program that best suits the needs of Meridian citizens, considering, I mean, when I say that, best meet the need, thinking about the economics of it, thinking about the convenience of it and all those factors. There's a lot of unknowns right now. So the SWAC remains committed to the principle of providing a recycling option for the citizens of Meridian.
I think if I remember, our original intent with this next year was to just give the market an opportunity to prove out the whole orange bag program and other options. So I think to pull out now would kind of eliminate our option to gather data to make a better decision a year from now. I thought that's where we were at in all these changes in the market. So I think it's premature to just pull the plug, even though it may cost us a few dollars while we work through it.
Okay, so this is really good for us to go ahead and work this through as kind of a commission level work. So I've got SWAC remains committed to the principle of providing curbside recycling to the citizens of Meridian. Then you said provided.
I didn't say curbside, but I'll let that go.
Well, and that's fine. We can go ahead and delete that and just say providing recycling services options to the citizens of Meridian. And then the caveat, or...
Is it based on current conditions and subject to change depending on future conditions?
But agreeing to this doesn't increase the cost at all yet.
Correct. We have not chosen the...
One of those two options.
Right.
current market conditions and future market conditions, because our decisions are based on the commodity of recycling.
And that's fine. I mean, it could be physical conditions, it could be market conditions, it could be, I mean, it's all open. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if you want to just limit it to just market or if,
Yeah, let's keep it, conditions is more broad.
okay. If you would go ahead then.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we.
Just point of clarification, so there was a motion and it was seconded. So as the maker of the motion, are you willing to amend it?
Actually, what I'm going to do is I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
So now,
And I would move that SWAC remains committed to the principle of providing recycling options to the citizens of Meridian based on current conditions and subject to future changes in conditions.
Second that.
are there further comments on the motion as made and seconded?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you feel that motion would provide Boise the level of reassurance they expressed they needed?
Yes. Members of the commission, any further comments?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, who was the person that seconded the motion?
Any further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of the motion as made signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. Meg, do you want to go ahead and hand that down? I know we have on the agenda then item B, residential recycling program, recycling options, continued discussion of Republic Services option 4 into the program, which is what we just said we were not going to participate in. I guess this allows for the opportunity for a conversation about the recycling options, but it certainly doesn't need, we don't need to do anything more on that today. We can pick that up at the regular meeting. But sensing we're okay to move on from that. The next item, C, glass recycling, continued discussion, actually more of a report. As requested, Republic will be making a presentation to City Council on Tuesday night. So there's really no further work that we need to do on that at this particular point, but it does give me the opportunity to report to you that Republic is prepared to make that presentation on Tuesday. And with that, we have concluded all the business that's on the agenda. The next meeting is June 27th. Is there any items that anyone wants to have put on the agenda or any other announcements that are coming up?
Mr. Chairman, I think probably it would be good that it's been a big deal for the last many months on the recycling and the value of the commodities. Maybe on each of the SWAC meetings is have an update or a handout. Maybe use the last information that we got as a baseline for the value of the, what's happening on the recycling field. We don't want to wait 3 or 4 months and then have somebody come in and say there's a catastrophe. We're having to pay $500 a ton to get rid of this. So I think it would behoove us to kind of know what's happening on the recyclables each and every month, and maybe a handout would be good, and probably would be something that Western Recycling could provide. I think they'd be happy to do it. At least I would like to know what's happening in the recycling markets each time we meet.
And of course, Conrad had that prepared up through the last meeting as included with the quarterly reports. And of course, we hadn't gotten to that, but I think having it available on a monthly basis, as you said, Western provides that, Republic gets it, Republic has that information. So if I may, would it be possible that on our monthly basis, could we go ahead and have a report on the most recent available month on the total, I guess, the aggregated value of recyclables per ton?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I'd be happy to provide that on a monthly basis. My insight would be limited to what I know between Republic and Western. Western would have to deliver an insight from what markets they're seeing.
Thank you. That would.
Mr. Chairman, I can add to that. I think last month China did not take any. Their ports were totally shut down, and Vietnam is currently shut down. So those ports are full, and we did do a pretty comprehensive workup with Western Recycling to vet that $87, north of $87 rate that we're being charged, and it came out that was justified. So we have been working through that for the last several weeks with Western, and looking through their financials to make sure that that rate is a good rate, and they did walk through all those numbers with us, so.
Okay. Additional comments?
Mr. Chair, I'd
Yes.
be interested in a report, if Republic has one, on how the orange bag program is going. I understand it's been rolled out in Boise. People have been getting their bags delivered, so I'd be interested if they know so far how it's going. And I had a colleague tell me that he got bags delivered to his home in Meridian. Yeah.
We had one street that was, that got orange bags in Meridian. I was, yeah, that's, and we had one street in unincorporated county that got bags, that had bags delivered. So we're using Impact, or the city of Boise is contract with Impact Directory, so there was a street, I can't think of the name of it.
Lives off of Locust Grove between Meridian and, or McMillan and Shinden.
Entire street got them, and they, a lot of them were pulled in by the time one person called and said, why did I get these bags? And then we flipped the switch and sent the contractor back, and they said, amazingly, like half of them were missing. So it's okay. And in unincorporated county, there were 2 streets that actually got bags as well. The program is really, really successful. Everyone's participating. We've told people who are not interested in participating that they can give the bags back to either a public services office or any of the public libraries in the city of Boise. We're not seeing them come back. I think there's people know more about recycling seeing lots of things like people putting their bags on top of food carts or next to the carts. So we're seeing some stuff we've got to work out, or because recycling's every other week, they'll put it in their recycling cart one week and then next to the trash cart the next week. Like, so they're not quite, we just have to work through them with some of those kinks, but overall, it's, participation is really high. And it is interesting, once, I think Commissioner Neal, have you already received your bags? And so once you get them, it is interesting when you see how much you actually generate in your house. I think, have you been using yours?
Yes.
And are you surprised? I mean, I guess I was surprised. I didn't think I had a lot of flexible plastics. And then once you start actually using the bags, it's kind of surprising. So, are you finding that you have more material than you think in yours?
I think it's filling rather slowly.
Yours is slow. Okay.
Yeah, ours, we did buy it, it worked out. It's best to buy a tall kitchen garbage can, and they'll fit just perfectly in it rather than be trying to stuff it in there, you know, have it, and then have that sit by our recycling container in the garage. But it's filling slowly. I doubt that we'll fill one a month, but there are only two of us.
Yeah, and so ours are things like, when I'm going to Costco buying paper towels, or toilet paper, or empty tortilla bags, or empty carrot sacks, or empty celery bags, or, you know, just like things that you buy at the grocery store that I never really gave much thought about. So, there are things that kind of surprised me. I guess I didn't really think too much about. So, yeah.
Mr. Chair. Rochelle, when you were talking about the contamination level, is it bad enough, it's there, but it's not bad enough to like totally negate a load?
So.
Which is good.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so we haven't seen, that's outside of what we do, so we're on the collection, so we transport it to Western where it's baled and then shipped. I haven't heard, of a contamination threshold for Manila, so they're willing to work through that, and,
So this audit didn't come up with any red flags or anything?
no, I think it was really what we anticipated, and so, in the existing program in Omaha, number one, water bottles would not be considered contaminated because it's used for the BTU value, so it's used for more incineration and generate electricity than to, generate fuel. So for us, it has to be more specific in this region than it does back there. But no, I think that we saw exactly what we thought, because we don't allow number one lightweight water bottles in. We were kind of worried about that. So we just have to work it around that. And paper, for whatever reason. So, yeah, it seems so. But not enough to like negate a load or anything like that.
That's good.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask Rochelle a question? Rochelle, there was an article in the Statesman where they talked about the number of bags and the weight that had gone to Western Recycling a couple of weeks ago. And it looked like the the bags that they were processing weighed just a little over a pound a bag.
Yeah, 1.4.
So that so they're a pound or a pound and a half for a 13-gallon bag full, or hopefully full.
Right, so, yeah, Mr. Chairman, so I think people were following, the guideline was just every 2 weeks, just put it in. And that way, because when the bags are really full, they have a tendency to rupture if they get hit or compressed in the truck. So if you just keep them moving through, a lot of them were underfilled, some were had sharp objects and things like that. That's another teaching kind of opportunity for everybody. But, no, I think that it was, in Omaha, I think the average is 1.6 pounds or it's really close to what they're finding in Omaha too. So I think we were right on 1.5 pounds, and they're right around 1.5 pounds, like a little way one way or another. But I think that's really what we were expecting to see.
Thank you.
Commissioners? Let me close with reminding you that we have our annual event at Public Works Expo, June 7th, correct? And if you've committed to Megan to be at the booth, please follow through with your commitment. And I would remind you again that there is the city picnic, like June 19th and 14th. Very good. I can't think of anything else that we need to kind of highlight, so Having completed all the business that's before us, I go ahead and declare the meeting adjourned. It is 4:31. Thank you for your participation.